everybody else is the fact that I knew exactly where my business came from, who was sending me the business, and I was able to track every human being that I talked to and knew exactly where they stood in my process. So this lead tracker is broken down very, very simply, and it's very, very basic. You have the person who referred, the client themselves, the source in which they came in, meaning if it was a past client referral, if it was a realtor, if it was a past client referral, if it was a current client referral, and the list goes on, okay? And what kind of loan it was, if it was a purchase or refi, phone number, and who referred. The details of this document are so simple, but yet so powerful. And there's a group of LOs that have been working with this specific document for the last 9 months, and the results that they're seeing in not only tracking their business, but what it gives them as a focal point on where to focus their time and energy has been transformative. And I'll give you an example. So we have a gentleman on in my class. His name is Ryan Miller. I know, Larissa, you know who that is, and John Scandamus, I know you know who that is. So Miller provided me with his quarterly lead tracker results. So here's the details that he was able to get for me. So he went through and tracked every one of his leads that came in, and he generated about 21 leads a month on average for the first quarter. Okay, his goal was to actually collect 30. But what the bottom half information discloses is exactly what his success rate is with everybody. He's currently, and if you go through and analyze the numbers, he's currently converting 35+% of the leads that are coming in to closable transactions. Now, Ryan's a really great LO. He knows the details, but he doesn't do anything different than what John and what Larissa and what Tony, you guys do yourselves. He just doesn't. He goes out there and he talks to the people genuinely, and he's honest and he's upfront, and he knows his craft. The details of what this shows me is that Ryan doesn't really need to do much more in his business except for stay on top of his current clients that are coming in and manage the conversion rate of the applications that he's turned into pre-approvals. And that's all he has to do. If he's able to do that, figure he's bringing in 21 referrals a month, and if he's converting 35% of those, 23, 5, that means that he's averaging about 8. Go ahead.
No, I thought you were quizzing us how many it would be. I said 7.
Yeah, no. So that's about 8 loans a month that he's closing times. Oh, that's what his number is at for the first couple months. Times, and his loan size is 225. So that means he's closing at a pace of about 1.8 million a month times 12. That means that he's going to look at bringing in about $21 million in closed loan volume for the year. I'm not saying that that's what he's done for the first quarter, because we are cyclical. We have seasons, whether you're in Florida, Texas, or Michigan. The truth is that he's sitting on a pipeline of more than 20 pre-approvals that he has not been able that hasn't been able to go under contract yet. But if he maintains the relationship with them, he will convert those into closed loans. So the question that I share with you guys is this: when you look at his business model and all doing is tracking his business, what does this little document of 11 lines really share with you guys? What does it communicate to you guys about his business?
I think the formula for making money.
It absolutely is the formula for making money. When you think about all the different activities that you do every single day, and you think about all the things that you would want to do to generate business and all the great ideas and all the great strategies, at the end of the day, you literally can narrow it down to how many people I talk to every day, and how do I keep the ones that want to work with me from leaving. If Ryan maintains 21 leads a month and he converts 35% of them, he'll go from earning I think he closed 11 million in loan volume last year. No, actually, I don't even think he did that. I think he did less. He literally could triple the goal that he set for himself, because his average loan size is about 225,000. Kind of a little bit lower than yours, John. So the reason I'm sharing this with you, Tony, and I know Larissa, you're working on it, and John, you and I have talked about it in the past, is that in order to understand what your business needs, you first have to understand what your business is currently made up. Ryan's business for a very long period of time was built on exactly the same thing that he's always done, except his business was always thanked, meaning that his clients appreciated him, with gift baskets. Ryan prided himself on getting more gift baskets than any other LO. But with a couple tweaks to his language, he was able to start influencing his current clients and his realtors to start referring him more business. And when he looked at his last quarter, he's like, wow, 21 leads isn't my goal. However, I'm sitting on 20 pre-approvals and I've already closed 12 transactions for the year. Yes or no that Ryan should be looking at other ways to generate revenue? Or should he just focus on what he's currently been doing?
I'd say keep doing what he's doing because it's absolutely driving the results. Why do anything else? Take your eye off the ball.
Right. And the reason that the lead tracker is such a powerful but yet simple tool is that it gives you a chance to monitor what you know you should be doing. There is no chance to hide behind smoke and mirrors anymore. At the end of every week, if your goal is to generate 5 leads a week, then you want to create 20 leads a month, you need to be generating 5 to 6 leads a week in activity. At the end of the week, if you've only spent an hour or two on sales activities because you've spent the rest of the time doing operational type stuff and closing loans, you'll quickly realize why you're not getting your business in the door. After that, if your conversion rate isn't as high as it should be, and my average and what I believe is more realistic is about 30%. I believe that for every 3 people you meet with, one of them is going to be an actual closed loan. And everybody else either doesn't qualify, just like you see the red X's on here, they didn't qualify because of income or credit or some other reason. The circles down here meant that I actually had a conversation with them, was working on figuring out whether I could get them pre-approved or not, and we were in dialogue. The greens were people that I actually took application with and actually were loans that I put into the process. Does anybody think that monitoring your leads every single day is a good or bad idea?
That's a good day. A good thing. Good idea.
Larissa, you've been doing this for the last 2 weeks. What has been the biggest change for you? What have you seen happen with the way that you approach your business every day?
Well, one of the main things, it's really easy when you get multiple calls or when you're still, working on your files and stuff, you can easily forget about a lead.
Right.
And so it keeps track of that. And then, it just also helps you keep track of, like, exactly that. Where's your business coming from and whether you have business coming in or not. It's
right.
Black and white. It doesn't lie.
Right. One of the things that I loved the most was that when I was having a slow month, let's say I went down and looked at, I don't know, let's say January, February. So here we go. So in the month of February of 2012, I didn't generate that many leads. I generated, 18 leads. What I could do in those months is I could turn around and fall back onto those other months and look for all those circles for people that hadn't done anything or were still out there but I hadn't converted yet. I could pick up the phone and start having conversations with those people again. See, when you track your traffic, when you track the people that you talk to about what you do for a living and you capture their information, it gives you the control to be able to monitor them. And let's really be honest with ourselves about this. Most of the time, we're not competing against other loan officers like ourselves for our client's business. We're competing against the people that happen to be at the right place at the right time, either through media, through the internet, or they happen to walk into their bank. The truth is that the success rate of how we're able to grow our practice has to do with how well we're at capturing our clientele. That's why the language skills when you first meet with your clients are so powerful. That helps capture them emotionally. But the follow-up process is equally as important, because if you say that you treat them like a relationship, but yet you don't follow up with them like a relationship, you tend to lose a little bit of credibility. And so the lead tracker was a very simple and very honest and very clear way that I could determine whether or not my business was on the right track that month. And since I looked at it daily, there was either a chance that I could relax because my pipeline was full, or I was having to scramble because I needed more leads coming in order for me to hit my numbers. The reality for you guys is that unless you're tracking your business on a day-to-day basis, you really are a reactionary-based loan officer. And your clients will feel that and sense that because you don't have any control. And what I mean by tracking your business isn't by keeping it on a loose leaf piece of paper or on the back of an envelope in the kitchen or on a sticky note on your computer. I'm talking about using a specific document that you look at day in and day out, and that becomes your routine and your focal point for every activity that you say you're going to do. Meaning, Ryan Miller came to me the other day and said, I would like, he's starting to do Thor's Hammer again. And I said, well, that's great. Let's talk about doing that again. And so I said, why don't you send me your quarterly details? The truth in the matter is that Ryan doesn't need any more leads. He can't service the leads that he currently has. And so what would happen if he was able to go out there and drive more realtor business? What would be the result?
He wouldn't be able to service them, right?
Exactly. And so what he would be doing is counterproductive because his business isn't designed to support more than 20 pre-approvals at a time. The reality for him was that now he needs to hire somebody. He doesn't need to hire somebody that doesn't have experience. He needs to hire somebody that's got a license. At least that's what he believes, and I support him in that. The reality for you guys is that we don't know what your next evolution of your business is. We don't know what you guys need to be focusing on because we don't know what your business consists of. So Tony, as an example, my friend, do you know how many leads you've gotten for the first 15 days of April? Mr. Brock? Well, that's awkward. John, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How many leads have you gotten in for the month of April?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Because
are you being honest?
I'm being honest.
Okay.
And here's my excuse and why I love this call, and it's probably my favorite one, is when I started doing what you told me and just tracking the people that I got in 1 month,
yep.
And I started calling them, they started biting, and talking about servicing your people. So more people have come in, and I haven't set up the habit of doing this religiously and making it the focal point because I'm just so tickled that I'm actually getting more business and filling up a pipeline which has been vacant of deals. Right. And so what I do know is I've got 12 loans in the pipeline, possibly 15 by the end of the week, and I don't think I had any 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So.
Right. It's a power. There's a I believe in my heart there's a psychological leverage that happens when you look at your business and you will things to happen. Like I'm a big believer that I think there's a book out there called The Secret. I've never been a big fan of asking the universe for help or asking the universe to provide me things. I've always been a big believer that if you give of yourself unconditionally, you will receive everything that you've ever wanted. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll end up getting what you want. And I believe that as you service the clientele that you have and you manage their relationship as you explain to them that they, what they mean to you, you in turn provide them a reason and an opportunity to endorse you and become advocates of your business. Simply by maintaining that relationship, you at that point are differentiating yourself against 99% of your competition. 99% of the other LOs out there treat everybody like a transaction. This lead tracker provides you a chance that if you choose to, you can literally go back and look at all the people that have referred you over the last 12 to 24 months or over the last quarter, and you literally can pick up the phone and know specifically what's going on. And I know that there's CRM systems like Jungo and other client relationship management tools out there that'll do that. But for me, I didn't get into that. I was a very grassroots kind of basic document that allowed me to really make sure I knew what my business looked like. So I knew how to build my business. The lead tracker, from its from its inception was really designed not to grow my business, but to help make me think like a business owner and less like a loan officer. Can anybody else see that?
Yes.
Well, I think it's abundantly clear.
My phone was spazzing out, but I'm back. I'm just letting you know. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tony. So I'm sorry
to answer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, the fact that you can show 10 years of history from what you did all the way back, I mean, that is a huge testament. And I don't know anyone who does that, you know. So, I mean, I think it's pretty incredible.
All the way down, I mean, I'll go, I mean, I'm talking, this is my pay logs, I mean, my income sheets. Tracking your numbers, I believe, is the fundamental difference between being a professional athlete and being an amateur athlete. Truly. I can go back to November of 2007. See, I even didn't do it perfectly with phone numbers and where they came from, but I was getting better. But you can see past client, you know, certain people, you know, referred, and so on and so forth. The reason that this
system does, but nothing detailed like this, you know.
Okay, and I'm not saying it has to be detailed like this, but every category that's on this document serves a specific purpose, either immediately or at the end of every year. The reason that it's important is because when you go to build a business plan for the following year to really understand what your goals are, you have to understand how you're going to get there. And if I was to say to you guys that, you know, my business, I went after realtors every single week. I tried to build new relationships with realtors. But the truth was that 63% of my closed loan volume came from my past client, my database. So for me, understanding that, I didn't spend a lot of time focusing on realtor relationships. I didn't need to. I knew that it would augment my business along with my affiliated partners, my CPAs and financial planners and so forth, but I needed to spend more time managing my past clients. So that's where my greatest success came. But right now, today, we can talk about 1,000 different strategies that either the Marketing Animals or the War Room or somebody else teaches you. The truth is that we don't really know what our strengths and weaknesses are because we have no way of knowing what we're good at. The difference between an amateur ball player versus a professional ball player has to do with statistics. If you're a baseball player and you don't know how well you bat against a changeup or a slider or a split finger or whatever else, you'll never learn how to improve on that pitch because you don't know your numbers. And it's no different with this document. So my conversations with Ryan Miller and some of the other LOs that I coach and work with are not centered around what the new activity is that they should be doing. The first thing is to identify, are they really maximizing their current efforts? Because the truth is, if your current efforts are making you money and you love doing it, you're not going to stop. Let's just find a way to spend more time doing it and doing it with more purpose and have it being a little bit more premeditated so that you can actually see the results. There's no point in getting you guys to start calling realtors if you hate doing it. There's no point in having you guys call your clients if you hate doing it. But I don't know yet what your numbers look like. So the purpose of today's call is really simple. I'm going to send you guys a copy of this blank document. I'm not sure, John, if you have it, and Larissa, if you have the same one. But I'll post it in an email with the replay to everybody. And my challenge to you is, over the next month, I'm going to ask that you guys use this document religiously. I don't care if you write it on a piece of paper and then transfer it over to this document, but I will tell you that in a month from now, I will have a better understanding of how your business is running so that I can more accurately support you and coach you and work with you to help you reach the goals that you're seeking. There was an LO that I spoke to yesterday who I challenged and asked to generate 5 leads by the end of the week. This was last week. On Friday, she called me and said, she called me Thursday and said, I got my 5th one, and it was like at 11 a.m. And then she goes, I'm not stopping at 5, I want 7. By 6 o'clock on Friday night, she texted me and said, I got my 7th lead in for the week. And so this morning, or earlier this week, I asked her, no, it was this morning, I asked her, I said, so why do you think you were able to go ahead and really get that 7th lead? She goes, because in all fairness, Doug, it was fun. I was monitoring my business. I was looking at the people I was talking to, and there was a goal. Sometimes our goals are so far out there, meaning annually, that we don't look at the little steps that we have to take in order to get there. This lead tracker is a fundamental piece that on a day-to-day basis, if you don't have a lead coming in, then you've spent too much time doing other things that were not productive. You were busy, but you weren't productive. So whether you want to close 5 loans a month or 10 loans a month or 15 loans a month or 20 loans a month, I believe that it's all based on statistics. And from my experience over the last 20 years, the sweet spot is about 30%. So for every 10 leads you get, you're going to close about 3 loans a month. And that's not an immediate transfer, meaning you're not going to get 10 leads in this month and close 3 loans. It means that over a period of time, you'll have built up a pipeline of enough pre-approvals that you will consistently close 3 loans a month if you continue to generate 10 referrals a month. Does anybody not see that or believe that that's an inaccurate opportunity? Hello? Did everybody leave me? Am I by myself?
No.
No, I'm here.
I thought you just wanted us to answer if we did not agree.
Oh, just let me know that you guys are still there. Sometimes I feel like I talk to a wall.
No.
Technically, I'm talking to a wall, but in all fairness, it's nice to hear somebody else on the other end.
Yeah, I did not disagree, so I figured I wouldn't say anything.
What I'm really looking for from you guys is in order for us to start really looking at our business and get away from the things that we hate doing. We all have the ebbs and flows. We all hate it. I hear it from everybody. We all can't stand the inconsistency. We all can't stand getting caught up in the minutia of our loans. We all can't stand the drama of everything else that goes on, because what we're really good at and what we really enjoy doing is the front-end sales. It's the building of relationships. It's the bonding with people. It's being able to manage their fears, set expectations, and do a really good job building a relationship with them. But until we start understanding what our business looks like from the sales, from the front side of the sales business, it's impossible to understand where you have to spend your time. Because we all have to practice. All of us have to practice our craft. This is probably one of the other steps that I use on a very entry-level basis to help you guys start thinking like a business owner. This is not a loan officer document. This is not a rates, fees, costs, approval, clear to close. This is I'm tracking my activities as a producer. Our industry is not, I'm sorry, not our industry. Our position should never be about closings. We spend too much time focusing on the deal to close, and that's why we get ourselves involved in operations so much, because we concern ourselves so much with the closing that we lose sight of what's really important, and that's leads. We are in the business of generating leads. Once you generate the lead, each of you has a team behind you. Larissa, you just got a team. John, you have a team. Tony, you have a team. There's not a single person on this call that wouldn't be able to turn in a good application and then forget about it. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying you shouldn't be involved. What I'm saying is you should be able to forget about it and spend a majority, 75% of your week focusing on sales activities. And your lead tracker proves to me what you're doing every single week. Because to be honest, people, it's just about how many people you talk to. That's it. It's not rocket science. So my challenge is for each of you right now, I would like to hear from each of you individually what your goal is between now and May 15th. How many leads do you believe you're capable of getting between now and May 15th? I don't care about conversion rates. I'm just asking about leads. Tony, let's start with you, buddy.
All right, I'll just throw a number out.
Well, here, Tony, let me before you do that, how many loans did you close in the month of March?
March, I would say March was a pretty decent month, actually.
Okay.
I'd say about 5.
5. So let's go with your average is, let's say you're going to do 17 leads.
Okay.
17 leads that we'll say that you convert 30% of them. So I'd say 15 would be your norm, but let's just throw 2 more in there for good measure. So 17 referrals by this month.
Okay. Okay.
John, what about you, buddy?
My goal is 30.
30. Okay. Larissa?
Wow. I'm
How many loans did you close last month?
last month was 2 loans, 2 or 3. 2 loans. 2 loans.
Okay, 2. Well, I know that was a low month for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with 15 leads.
Okay.
Is that fair? Do you think that's too low, or do you think that's too high?
No, I think that's just right. I may aim a little bit higher than that, but we'll stick with 15.
All right. So here's the challenge. The first person to reach their goal wins. And I will acknowledge the winner, and you guys will, and the winner will receive something from corporate on behalf of us for your efforts. So the race starts today. You have until
Leads from today, obviously.
You have until May 15th. Say that again, Larissa.
So leads from today, obviously, on.
From today on.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you got 4 leads in today, you've got a very, very, very strong head start.
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to announce it. We're not going to do anything about it, except for the person that wins has to send me their sheet, the lead tracker, like the one that I have on here, and everything has to be filled out. In order to win, you have to have it all filled out. So obviously, you guys can call me with questions and whatnot. And Tony, for example, on the bottom, you'll see that where I'm highlighting, these are the categories in which the source of business comes from. Current client referral, past client, personal, realtor, ad, business, I didn't do anything with builders, but these are my associated, affiliated partnerships, my ARs. Okay, so what your goal is to fill each of these lines out completely, okay? The green target is an application taken, meaning you actually have signed documents, meaning it's a pre-approval. Application taken means they actually have a contract. Lead, dead lead, and meeting set. That's the goal. So whoever gets their goal first wins. But the lead sheet has to be completed, which means that you guys have to use it on a daily basis to make sure that the details are there. Is that fair?
Fair.
Fair. Can you go back to the bottom for a second? You said the green is for you have a signed application or you're pre-qualified?
The target is somebody that you've taken an application for but isn't under contract.
Isn't on. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So here's an example. So when I did a refi, I used the targets because I didn't have a with home. I didn't use that with a home. I just assumed that those targets were really just my way of saying that these are actually loans that I've taken in that will close. And I was always of my business model. When I took an application from you, very, very, very infrequently did I lose you as a client. So you won't see any of these homes, the picture of the home on here, just because it was even too complicated for me. So I just stuck with the targets as I hit a bullseye. The dead lead and then the meeting set. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's it. Does that sound like an easy challenge for you guys?
Got it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Here's the best part about it. At the end of this contest, what you've essentially done is you've helped insulate yourself for another slow month or another down month, because for the next 30 days you guys are going to be focused on your lead activities, probably more so than you ever have been. And when you do that, you'll be amazed at the results. I promise. Any questions?
No.
Just ready to go, man. I think I'm gonna break my
All right,
goal.
guys. What's that?
Okay. So I think I'm gonna do more than the 17, to be honest with you.
All right, Tony. Then you should be. Then I should be able to see your lead tracker sheet by the end of next week, right?
I'm probably end up calling you about Wednesday to make sure I'm completing everything correctly. But yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. I want to see somebody. If you hit your goal, you hit your goal. Anything past that, even better. But the first person to hit their goal wins.
Okay. Fair enough.
Then you can take the rest of the month off.
That won't happen.
Yeah, I know. I know. All right, guys. That's all I have for you guys today. Is there anything else you guys need from me?
Not at the moment. Thanks, Doug.
As always, you guys, if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to reach out to me in between the calls. I'm honored and it's an absolute pleasure to hang out with you guys. It really is something I look forward to on a weekly basis because I respect and honor every one of you guys. And to call you guys a friend. I really do. I really consider you guys friends. So have a great weekend. Enjoy your families, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, Doug. Thank you.
You guys. Bye-bye.